Any comments or questions?
Did you have to stop?
That is the end of that scene, but there's a lot more about Hobo and Shoshana in this book and in all three books, actually. They turned out to be very popular characters. But Hobo is, yes, the artist has entered his angry period, as it says a little later in the novel. So. Any other comments or questions?
Robert.
Yes. If that is my real name, yes.
The amount of time you spend, now you're talking a book a year. How do you do that? I mean, the amount, the research alone, and
yeah. Now I do a book a year. This is my 20th year as a novelist, and my 20th book I'm just finishing now. That said, this trilogy took 6 years with a little bit of time off in between to do. The research was phenomenal to do this series of books, and because I had to learn all about primate communication for these scenes about primate communication. I had to learn all about the World Wide Web, not just how to use it, but what it's actually structured as, the actual physical instantation of what is the World Wide Web, and how packet switch networks work, and all kinds of fascinating stuff. In fact, I must say I'm so happy. I just got an email just this morning from a guy who teaches networking for Cisco, which is a big router maker, asking if he could reprint passages from Wake where I explain how packets on the internet work for his students, because he said I explained them better than their textbook did. So I thought, okay, that's really nice to know I got it right, because I'm a guy with an arts degree, right? So that's not too shabby. Yeah, the research, there's tons and tons of research. But that said, there's only so much time you can spend at the keyboard each day before the well goes dry. So I do a lot of other things. You know, my principal business is writing books, but I do a lot of keynote addresses. I just finished writing an episode of Flash Forward. I developed a series pilot for space last year. Do all kinds of other stuff. The answer is, if it's your full-time job, that's actually a lot of time. It's, you know, 200, and I must say I work 7 days a week. So, you know, I work not 365 days a year, but probably 320 days a year. I suppose people work 260 days a year. So you get a lot of extra time that way. And I've been fortunate enough for 13 years now to be well-to-do enough as a writer, which is a rare and special privilege in this country. I'm extraordinarily grateful to the people, you readers and the booksellers, who have made that possible for me, to be able to employ my wife full-time as my salaried assistant to look after my all the things that otherwise would eat up hours out of every day. To keep proofreading my contracts, go through my contracts. She's the one who argues back and forth with my agents about what should and should not be, the contract language and so forth. I'm very lucky that way. But that means that when I am sitting down to do work, I am always sitting down to be creative, and that is very gratifying.
you have to travel.
Yes, oh my God, I spend at least 100 days a year on the road. I leave tomorrow for 5 days on the road. I'm doing, part of it is research, and part of it is promotion. Penguin Canada is very graciously sending me to 14 cities in this country to promote Wake, which is a huge tour by Canadian standards. Usually a tour of 3 cities or maybe 5 cities. But I'm doing everything from Victoria and Vancouver all the way down to Charlottetown and Halifax and right across the country, which is fabulous. I mean, they're really supportive of the book. The books, I must say. I'm also very lucky that I get asked to speak at a lot of conferences, specifically based on Wake and its discussion of consciousness. I'm giving a keynote address at the Toward a Science of Consciousness conference at the University of Arizona next month in April. And my first book riffs a fair bit on Julian James's 1970s book, The Origin of Consciousness and the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind, that some of you may remember and others of you may not. It is a very interesting book. And there's still a biannual conference of James scholars that happens in Prince Edward Island every year, Charlottetown, every other year. And I'm giving the keynote at that conference this year because they invited me based on having read my novel Wake, which is way, way cool, I think. It's in, just parenthetically, it's in PEI. This will interest our archivist here, because that's where James's papers are. He used to summer in PEI. He was a professor at Princeton, but he summered in PEI. He had his family vacation home near Charlottetown, and that is where his papers ended up being. So interesting. They have the conference there in his honor. But yeah, how do I manage it? I don't know.